True crime stories have long served as the basis for law and order stories. All the shows, meanwhile, use actual crimes and criminals and set them in largely made-up narratives. This indicates that, although not to the same extent as a docuseries, they are based on crimes and criminals. That changes with a new show. This is what Law and Order is now doing in the real crime space. Order and Law introducing real crime series. With shows like Criminal Intent, SVU, and the original series, Law and Order has been around for more than 20 years. Although the franchise is now branching out into the true crime category, many of the shows are based on genuine crime stories. A true crime podcast based on Law and Order was launched by Dick Wolf Entertainment. Law and Order. Criminal Justice System's first season, to be shown on NBC, will feature 10 episodes. Additionally, the host of the show has extensive background in both the legal system and podcasting. The new podcast series is hosted by former Brooklyn District Attorney's Office prosecutor Anna-Sigga Nicolazzi. In addition, Nicolazzi co-hosts the TV shows True Conviction and the true crime podcast Anatomy of Murder. She claims that her desire to better society led her to choose a career as a prosecutor. I enjoy the challenge of piecing together puzzle pieces and then having to pack it all up and explain it to a group of 12 citizens from various backgrounds, because the hardest part of the job is getting them to agree, she remarked of the position. She is currently compiling stories for podcast listeners. The Law and Order podcast. What is it about? The first season of the Law and Order podcast will focus on the collapse of the Mafia in New York City in 1979. Listening to the first 3 episodes is already possible. The assassination of Carmen Gallant is the subject of the first of these discussions. The execution of 3 banana captains is the subject of the second. The third describes a top-secret tape that rocked the syndicate of organized crime. True crime enthusiasts have fallen in love with the new podcasts that are playing. It seems as though I'm living it. This pod is incredible. I'm eager to do this. Never stop surprising me. Dick Wolf is the best at true crime. The TV series that is still in broadcast, which includes Law and Order, SVU, and Law and Order, Organized Crime, is expanded by the addition of the Criminal Justice System podcast. What do you think of the recently released Law and Order True Crime podcast? Have you listened to it up to this point? Post your ideas in the comments section below.